up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. So over the weekend there was Knoxville Regionals, and I did go to Knoxville Regionals. First off, I want to give a huge shout out to everybody who came to me during Knoxville Regionals. Said they watched the channel, said that they've been watching for years, love all the content. It means the world to me. I can't say thank you enough. But we did go to Knoxville. We drove down there, about 9-10 hour drive. We stayed with my friend Harrison. I currently don't really have like a group of people that I like consistently like stay with hotels with anymore. That group of people, they don't really play anymore. So gotta work on finding a new crew that I can just like every regionals we just like trying to build together decks, and I don't know, we're working on that right now. That's what I'm trying to work on right now. But Harrison let me stay with him and his crew, so fantastic. Thank you, Harrison. And my friend Ty, Lugias, shout out to Ty. I personally don't own Lugias, and I did not want to spend like $25 at the venue for like Lugia VSTARs and like how much it was for Lugia Vs. When I was only playing one tournament, maybe two, because it does rotate after Charlotte, or this deck, the concept of this Lugia will rotate and the price of them will drop. So I definitely didn't want to spend it all. But I definitely wanted to play Lugia. I was like, I'm going to play Lugia. And I did have this Lugia VSTAR deck build, not this version, a different version built. And it's kind of like your regular, like the Aurora build with like Amazing Rare Yveltal, the Raikou, and all that kind of stuff. Very similar. It's close. But on OCIC, there's a player, Taketo, I think that's how you say their name, got on stream and played a Lugia Yveltal deck, and I will tell you this, as soon as I saw that deck, I was like, yo, I want to play that deck. That to me seems like the best build of Lugia, and I still think I will defend that this is the best build of Lugia and can take down any deck. I will gladly say that. I was trying to talk to a lot of people saying like, hey, this is a deck for this weekend, you need to play test and stuff like that. Now, obviously, I didn't have the best run. I will admit that. I didn't have the best run. But also, did have some unfortunate luck, and we will talk about that, of course. But I think this Lugia deck needs to be explored more, and nobody really has been exploring it. Taketo, I think that's how you say their name. I apologize if I'm saying wrong. They went 8-1, if I remember correctly, at OCIC. Fantastic, right? And then ended up in, what was it? In 14th place. I don't know the exact, I don't have the breakdown, like the points, but they were either on the bubble or very, very close to making it in. So fantastic. Man, yeah, I was like, this deck seems really cool. It seems really hype. And I mean, it went 8-1. It just seemed like it has answers to everything. Now, the original list is a little bit different. It did not play a Dunsparce and did not play a 4th Evolution Incense. What we did is there was a 4-4 Lugia. We cut one of the Lugias for an Evolution Incense, just so you have more consistent outs of Archeops and Lugias. And it did play 3 boss orders. I cut a 3rd boss order for a Dunsparce because the deck, I don't know. The way people were asking me, like, what do you call this deck? And I was like, I don't know, like Tank Lugia, Control Lugia. It's kind of up to you. I don't know. But what it tries to do, it tries to beat the big 2 decks, right? It tries to beat Lugia and tries to beat Mew. And how does it do that? Well, first off, you have Lugia, right? Lugia, Tempest Dive, whatever, right? And you have multiple V-Guard energies. You play 2 of them. So that makes it where other Lugias can't really, like, they can't really one-shot you unless they go for Yveltal. And if they go for Yveltal, well, that falls into your plan. Because then you start using Cry of Destruction, discard 3 spells from your opponent's Pokemon. So what you could do, and this is kind of what you want to do against Lugia, is you have, like, regular Lugia, you're, like, trading with their Lugias, Lugia knocks out their Lugia, and, like, they're trading back and forth, and then they go, like, Amazing Rare Yveltal, and you go Cry of Destruction, discard some energies, and now they're down a bunch of energies, right? And what they can do then is, like, maybe promote, like, something else, like a Lumineon or something, and just swing, and you go back into Lugia, and then you, like, they can't really retaliate, and if they do try to knock out their Lugia with either, like, another Lugia, you can go back into Yveltal once again, and kind of go about that way. So that's pretty cool. I tested this deck a lot, and that's what it seemed like how it went. You just like trade with Lugias and Yveltals and stuff like that, going back and forth. And you play cards like Cheren's Care, put one of your colors Pokemon and that has any damage counters in back into your hand. So like if a Lugia takes a hit, you can just like Cheren's Care back into your hand, and you're good to go. And you play enough energies, like the 4 double turbo, to like easily power up another Lugia, which is pretty neat. Obviously, the 4 double turbo are for Yveltal as well. So that's how you beat the Lugia. And against Mew, well, you have Drapion, and what you can do is like Lugia with a V-Guard energy is hard for Mew to knock out. They can't one-shot you, sure, but then you go for another Lugia V, and they can't really one-shot that. And so, like, Lugia, like, you know, 2 Lugias will eventually knock out a Mew, and then you go to Drapion for the last 3 prize cards. So Lugia will take 3, and then Drapion will take 3, and that's how you do it. Now, you could sneak it out and, like, knock out a Genesect, and a Drapion. That is something you could do. You do have to worry about Mew Psychic Leaping and stuff like that. But hopefully you can, like, Lugia, pop one off. They could, like, retreat to a fresh one, and you go Drapion, and then you knock out the Lugia. The Lugia, you kind of have to worry about a Psychic Leap, but even then, it's, I mean, they got a Psychic Leap into, like, a Genesect or something, then you, like, boss up the Mew and take a knockout. I think it's been a good matchup online when I was playing it. So I think it's really, really good. I think it's a really good matchup. Against Lost Box, you have Stoutland, right? Double Dip Fangs, base Pokemon, you take a knockout, you take an extra prize card. And what Lost Box hates the most, it's going to be Marnie, right? They hate to get low hand size. What they also hate is Roxanne. So if they take a bunch of prize cards, you Marnie them, Roxanne them, you're good to go. I didn't include the Dunsparce in here because there's old one with, you know, the Zeraora in the deck. And then also, we know that Taketo lost to Raul playing Regigigas, and I remember, like, I heard a rumor, like, Raul was like, oh, you just tackle Regilucky, and they really can't do anything. And so what I did is you put Dunsparce in there, and it kind of makes your, like, Regigigas matchup, like, super good. We only played against one Regigigas. I didn't test any, but I did play against one, and we'll talk about that during the matches, how that went. But yeah, with that, plus, like, Archeops, plus Lugia and Manaphy, the plan is, like, you know, Lugia takes 2 knockouts, and knock out Lugia. Lugia takes 2 knockouts, you know, whatever, and then also you have, like, Cheren's Care. So Lugia take, like, 4 knockouts, then Archeops takes knockout, then Archeops takes knockout, and you're good to go. That is one route you could do. Lugia could sneak out 3 knockouts, and if Lugia sneaks out 3 knockouts, the other one sneaks out 2, and then the Archeops takes out 1, then you're gonna, like, win the game that way. So that's pretty nice. What else is big? Yeah, and like I said, against lots of box decks, if they go early, you Roxanne or Marnie them, and then you set up more Lugias, and they can't do anything about it because they can't really one-shot the Lugias because the Dunsparce is down. Most of the Lost Box decks this weekend were not Rayquaza. I think if they were Rayquaza, the match becomes a little bit harder, but they weren't playing. I don't think a lot of them were playing Rayquaza. So I think that's a good matchup. What else is there? I'm trying to look at the list. Each turn you probably just lose, unfortunately. Palkia, I didn't test the matchup, but I think you can outspeed them. And like what Palkia tries to do now is go for paralyzation plays, but with Bird Keeper and Cheren's Care, you can like loop twice, and that should be enough. Like you could do it twice, plus you can like not evolve and stuff like that. So that's pretty good. Vikavolt, you have Dunsparce, so they're doing like 50, and then with the V-Guard, they're doing like nothing. So like, seems pretty good. If you can get the Dunsparce plus V-Guard out, you're usually chilling, right? So that's really cool. Goodra is an interesting matchup. Because like you try to out-tempo them, plus like Marnie, Roxanne when need be. But eventually what can happen is you can be like a Goodra player, you get Cheren's Care, your own Lugia, be good to go. Arcturalodon. That's like an interesting matchup. You do play Path to the Peak, so that is something worth noting, but that's probably the hardest matchup is Arcturalodon. Yeah, I think it's Arcturalodon. It's probably your hardest matchup. I guess what you can do is like you just start to knock on the Arceus ASAP, and then like from there just like Path to the Peak plus like Marnie and hope they can't do anything about your Path to the Peak. I mean, most of them play like, you know, multiple stadiums anyways. So I don't know. That's probably your best bet. Just try to go fast and like take knockouts. That's the only real thing. I'm trying to think of what other big decks are. I think that's the only like other big decks I can think of. So you kind of see how you get beat, like all of them. Yeah. So yeah, I think the deck's really good. I wish more people would test it. But let's talk about our regionals run. So the big thing to note is I didn't like physically like playing online to playing physically is like totally different. I don't care what anybody says. I'm just telling you the truth. It's 100% the truth. So I didn't play this deck a lot physically. I didn't build the deck until like Friday afternoon at like 4, and then only played like a handful of games. So Zora's trying to get into my closet. Can you open the door? Can you open it? Should give up. But yeah, I did test it some at night. Just a little bit, just like a handful of games. And we did play against Regigigas that night because one of the people I stay with, they're trying to play Regigigas, and I was like, yes, I would love to play Regigigas. And we did like phenomenally, and then they played against Lost Box, and we beat them as well too. So we beat them playing Lost Box and Lugia. I mean, Lost Box and Regigigas. So I feel like confident. I was like, okay, that's cool. So I feel confident, made me feel better. But day one, we sit down and we play against a Lugia deck, right? Now Lugia is like supposed to be your best matchup, blah blah blah. I know I keep saying this. Game one, I get set up, they don't get set up, good to go. Game two, they get set up, I don't get set up, good to go. Game three, I go first, and this is where like me not playing in real life like definitely messed with me. Because like I had the opportunity because they started Yveltal, and I started like Manaphy or Dunsparce, I can't remember which one it was, and I had the opportunity to treat turn 2 to knock out the Yveltal with Lugia, yeah, but I decided not to for some reason. I was like, okay, if they want to like Cry of Destruction and take a knockout, they have to use 4 energies. Right? And I was just so blinded about like, oh, let me just discard the energies that I forgot about like Stoutland because I just wasn't thinking. I was like just in control mode. And like in hindsight, I'm like, oh, I should have just like took the knockout, right? Because we had that opportunity, but I didn't for some reason. What I could have done is knock out the Yveltal. They didn't have Stoutland on the field yet. And so they would have to promote Lugia. But instead what they do is they touch energy, retreat to the Stoutland, take a knockout then, and then I'm in trouble from there, right? So that was a little upsetting. So misplay on my part, huge misplay on my part. I should have just took a knockout. They have to promote Lugia. Lugia can swing, and if they do take a knockout, that's when you go for the Yveltal. They actually didn't see like my Yveltals at all. Game 1 or game 2, and we eventually drop it game 3, and he goes, whoa. And so he had like, it was still like kind of close, but with like Stoutland taking 2 prize cards just from the start, like from turn 2, I was already behind a prize, because if I go like knock out Yveltal, unless they knock me out with something like the Lugia, I can still like do damage to a Lugia or go for Archeops or Yveltal and like knock out 4 energies or 3 energies on their Lugia. And they were good, and like the other way to retaliate is to go for like, another Lugia. But I didn't. So I just misplayed from there. It was a huge wake up call for me. I was like, what am I doing? Like why did I make this simple mistake? Why am I not thinking? I wasn't thinking clearly. I was like so upset at myself. I had to walk around and listen to music and like get calmed and stuff. And then round 2 we played against Mew, but it's not. Sorry, I'm thinking in my head a lot. It's not the Mew I'm used to, the pass to the peak build with like just double turbo. It's actually the Fusion Strike build. That one's actually a little bit harder because they can like go baby Meloetta, right, and like take knockouts. I think it's like game 1 they win, game 2 I win. I don't think anything like too exciting is happening. I think game 1 I whiffed like Archeops. Game 2, I think we only got like 1 Archeops out. We're still able to win because of the Drapion Yveltal. Also Yveltal can like knock out Mew, like regular Mew V, because Dark Feather, if you put 3 energies on it, like Aurora and some stuff, you can take a knockout, no touch double turbo, because it's going to do 160. But Dark Feather does do 200, which locks out Mew V, so that's really cool. And we do go to game 3, and they say, hey, if we go to time, really fantastic player, we've played before, but we were like, they are like, if we go to time, I know I'm playing slow, so I'll give you the win if you're up on price cards, or if you have the win state on board. I was like, okay, that's fine. Because they have a kid that plays, and that's what they're more there for. But still, fantastic player. We have a really, really good match. And what ends up happening is time gets called, whatever. And we still play it out. Like they give me the win, even though we're gonna tie. So shout out. But what we do, we play it out. And the last turn, what they need is like 3 damage modifiers. And I think we Roxanne. Is it Roxanne? Yeah, we Roxanne them plus like Path to the Peak, because we do play Path to the Peak for Disruption Mew. Oh, I know one crucial thing too. Games 1 and 2, I Roxanne plus Path to the Peak them, like late game, and both times they're able to like vacuum or something to get out of it, right? Game 2 didn't matter, I still had the win. But game 3 we did it. And what ends up happening is I'm just like being silly. We're having fun, we're cutting up, right? Just having a good time. Is I take he's like, do you want to cut my deck? And I haven't cut all game, because we're just goofing off. Is I take the top card and I just put it on the bottom of the deck and I go, yeah, sure. And I cut the top card and they were still laughing and he whiffs it and they're like, what's the bottom card? And they just like lift up and it was the power tablet. And I was like, I just started laughing. I had a friend to the side, they just started laughing. So that was funny. The power tablet I cut was at the bottom deck. So we did win. So that was pretty cool. We did have a fun game 3 series. That was pretty cool. Round 3, we ended up playing against a Flaffy deck. And I think if we did not play the Shaner's Care plus Bird Keeper plus Dunsparce, we definitely would have been in trouble. It was like a Flaffy Zekrom deck. In game 1, I win. In game 2, what comes up is I didn't know their full list. Obviously, it's a Flaffy deck, so they can play anything they want to. There's a lot of different one-ups they could play. And I wasn't expecting a Raichu V. And they dropped Raichu V. And I remember the turn before, I like V-guard the bench, just so I can have it, just to get out of the deck. But in hindsight, if I knew they played Raichu, I should have V-guard the active, because they wouldn't have taken a knockout. But I don't V-guard the active, I V-guard the bench, and they win game 2, which is pretty funny. And then game 3, they actually don't get set up at all. It's like really, really, really bad for them. Really bad. Is that game 3? Yeah, I think that's game 3. Round 3, I mean. Round 4, we're playing against Vikavolt. Yeah, win-loss-win. Vikavolt, I'm pretty sure we double won. The big thing about Vikavolt is, like I said, you have Dunsparce, AK for weakness, stuff like that. And plus V-guard, they're not doing any damage. Also, in this matchup, you need like 1 Archeops, because Prima Turbo can get like Archeops can get multiple, like the double turbos. That's what's good about this build. Since you play 4 double turbos, you can like Prima Turbo 2 double turbos if need be, or double turbo something else and attach whatever. It's very easy to do, so that's pretty cool. The big thing about this matchup is my opponent did not find a single. I'm pretty sure I won one. Yeah, I'm like 99% sure I won one. They didn't hit a single speed energy in like the 12 turns we took. I mean, it was like very, very fast 2-0. Like, they didn't draw a single speed energy. They also said that they misplayed because, like, a game 2, I think it was win-win. I'm pretty sure it was win-win. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But I know for sure in game 2, they decided to go for a Melanie on a Raikou to try to knock out the Lugia because they didn't have Dunsparce out. But then they whiffed the speed or the regular lightning team and take a knockout. So that was really, really bad. They could have got the item lock online if they did mill into a benched Vikavolt that already had a lightning on it, and then they could have like stopped me. Because then after that, I just like got the Archeops out and it's game over from there. So now we are 3-1. Next turn we play against Reggie Gigas. Gigas is one of those matchups where you don't want to go 1 Archeops, but if you go 1 Archeops, you did have to bench space for Dunsparce and Manaphy, which is really, really cool. But I think game 1 we get out. Do we get a double Dunsparce or just 1 double Dunsparce? I don't know. I think was it win-win? I want to say it was win-win. I'm pretty sure it was win-win. But game 1 was definitely closer than game 2. But we actually didn't use the Shaner's Care at all. It was like a secret. We didn't show it at all. But it was in there. But being able to get like Dunsparce out and stuff like that, it's just really, really hard for them to do anything. I don't really remember anything too crazy about this matchup at all. Like nothing like sticks out except for game 2. I think it was a win-win. I'm pretty sure it was a win-win. Yeah, I think it was a win-win. But game 2, I'm like, I have a Ouija board mat from Senior Doom, and I was so excited to play it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna cast my Witchcraft and prize a bunch of Regigigas. Yeah, I think they prize like 5 Regigigas. Yeah, yep. They prized like 5 Regigigas. If I remember correctly, it was like 5 Regigigas. So that game 2 was over real quick. It was very, very bad for them. I'm trying to think if anything like exciting happened. Like game 1, I had a setup where like I had game on board because I had like 4 3-price cards left. A Lugia with no damage, Lugia with no damage to the bench, and like an Archeops that can like swing if need be. So like Lugia's taking 2, Archeops going to take 1. As long as you save your powerfuls for Archeops, you're good to go. You want to save your power for Archeops so you can speedrun to knock out Regigigas. If they do take a knockout Regigigas, because Regigigas does have 160, so save all your powerful for Archeops, and then just attach whatever. You can literally go for like one. You can literally go for 1 Archeops and put 2 double turbos on this guy, and you're good to go. Oh, I remember game 2. We haven't used Summoning Star, and then like bossed up by Dunsparce, and I was like, okay, cool. Next turn, Summoning Star got 1 Archeops, got the 1 Dunsparce, and just like used the 1 Archeops. I was like, oh, this is fine. We're chilling. And then he said, yep, you can do that. And I was like, yep. So we did that. So now we're 4-1. Like we're feeling busted. We're like, we gotta win 2 more games, 5 rounds. We just gotta go 50-50, right? Or we gotta go 50-50 the next 3, tie the last one, right? Next up, we are playing against the spreadsheet master, but unfortunately, it is Control. Control is a matchup I have not played at all. With this deck, is another deck I was thinking about, and I still don't know exactly how to play this matchup. I definitely think it might be winnable because we do play the 4 double turbo, so it's easier for us to power up our guys. Like, we do play less energies than most Lugias, but since we play the 4 double turbo, that's technically, like, a little bit more energies, right? Because we played the 4. I know game 1 came down to, like, if I had the double I think I had 1 prize card left. And if I'm wrong, I'm so sorry. But I'm pretty sure I had 1 prize card left. And I had the double turbo. The last double turbo was prized. Because if it wasn't prized, we can, like, and you don't know this, but only 1 Archeops out. You don't know that, but I know this. Only 1 Archeops out. I don't think this was the game they knocked out Archeops. Yeah, that was game 2. But game 1, we only got 1 Archeops out. If I got the both Archeops out, I think we would have definitely won game 1. But we only got 1 out, which is bad. But I think I had to go for like the turn 2 Archeops to like keep the momentum, or like to keep. I don't know. See, as I'm thinking, like now, did I just misplay? Should I have just waited? And I think I know why I only got the 1 Archeops out, because they started with a Regieleki, and I was like, oh, I only need 1. And then they benched a Snorlax, and I was like, yo, I don't know what's happening anymore. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. That's what I think has happened. So, I could be wrong, but I think that's what happened. Or they benched something else, and that's when I realized it was Control. Because I was like really confused at first. I was like, I don't know what deck you're playing. And then I guess you do. And I was like, my brain is not working. But once again, this goes back to like me not knowing decks either. Like me not playing in real life to realize what decks are what. But if we got the second Archeops out, because I know for sure we did not get 2 Archeops out that game. I think if we got the 2 Archeops out, we would have won. They even said like tempo is what matters, and we didn't go tempo. We also play like the Bird Keeper plus Cheren's Care. Cheren's Care probably doesn't matter that much, but the Bird Keeper does matter because you can like retreat out the active. You also play 2 Bats at the Peak, which can counter Galar Mine. Usually, Lugia decks only play the 1 or 0 stadiums, so that's a big thing too. We do play Pumpkaboo too, so we can get out of Galar Mine like 3 ways instead of the usual like 1 to 2. So that's nice to retreat. Anyways, but yeah, we get down to 1. I'm pretty sure it's 1 prize card left. If I had the double turbo on the deck, then we would have been okay. But since Lugia needs 4 energies, I can like, Archeops 2 out and then attach. But then they go, yeah, that's cute. Yveltal discard energy. So that was unfortunate. And game 2, because I don't think we didn't show what we were playing until game 2. And I think in that game as well, I didn't get 2 Archeops out. And I think at that point, I was just like, kind of just like, I don't think frustrated is the right word. I think I was just like disappointed in myself for not realizing I was playing against Control until like later in round 1. Because if I realized it was Control, I definitely would have waited to get 2 Archeops out. But anyways, we're having a fun time. Nothing's wrong. We're having fun. We're having good times. But yeah, so we lose that game 1, because we don't have any more energies at Scoop, because there's nothing I could do. And then game 2, I start Lugia attached. I have 3 energies in my hand. I have 2 double turbo and like a V-Guard or something like that. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, I need to catch a double turbo because I know there's a supporter card that discards energies, or I can just like. But if I attached, it could go Yveltal, and I was like, I don't know what to do. But in my hand, I thought it was more threatening to attach a double turbo and like hope to find the double turbo and take a knockout and like potentially donk them, because I think they only one Pokemon. But that doesn't happen. They ended up, I don't know if they benched a Pokemon or something, but they go Sydney and discard the other 2 energies in my hand and have a dead hand, and it just goes down here real quick. And then like the next turn, I'm like, man, at that point I was like, oh man, like, oh, I'm doing so bad. I was like, whatever. And then I was like, you know what? I even said like, let's have some fun, and I dropped the Yveltal. And then that's when I realized, like, oh my goodness, this is the Japanese list. I was like, it is the Japanese list. So then we have from there, my Yveltal discards their Yveltals. They go Snorlax, knock out my Yveltal. And I think they knock out, like, the only Archeops I have in play as well, too. I think I only had 1 at that game, too. That's what it seems like. So, it was fun, though. It was fine. It was fine. I was, like, trying, because they only had 1 prize card left because Snorlax was taking too much damage. I was like, your Snorlax is going to take a knockout. Like, your Snorlax is going to take a knockout. And so, like, I just kept passing and passing and passing. And, like, I was hoping they would Cheren's care. I was hoping they would smack it to my Lugia so I could Cheren's care, because I was making their Snorlax attack me. Because I was like, I'm not scooping. I'm going to keep playing and Marnie and just keep playing until you take their prize card. Instead, what happens, I think they Bird Keeper switch, and the next turn, boss order my Lumineon for knockout. I wanted them to knock out my Lugia, or swing it about Lugia, and then I can Cheren's care, but we couldn't do it that play. So that was unfortunate. But I had a fun series. Had a fun series. Even though we lost, now we're 4-2. We're like, okay. Alright. We gotta win the next 2 and tie to have a shot. Next round, play against Mew. Mew, it's a good matchup. It's good. It's not good when game 1 you don't get Archeops out. That's pretty bad. Once again, I think this comes down to like me not playing in real life, because, and I'm gonna say this, I don't care. People get upset. I don't think I was shuffling as well. I know that's weird to say, but I didn't get Archeops out, and I think I had bad hands. And there's a lot of games where I just didn't get Archeops out. And I think this is because I have like insufficient shuffling on my part. I think I need to get better at shuffling or practice more or something. Like maybe do more power shuffles or something. I don't know. I gotta figure out something. I think that was part of my reasoning why I did bad. I don't shuffle as much anymore. I'm not used to it. So game 1, unfortunately, we lose because we only got 1 Archeops out. No, we didn't get Archeops out at all. I'm like 99% sure I don't think I get any Archeops out. I'm pretty sure. But still, we have like a shot because like Yveltal plus like Drapion is like really good. Game 2, we win pretty convincingly. And then game 3, it's really close. But if I remember, oh no, game 2 is where I only got 1 Archeops out and we're still able to win, which is good. Like that just shows how free this matchup is. I was able to get 1 Archeops out, and we still we're chilling. Game 3, of course, they go first, and they get the turn to knockout from there. It kind of goes in their favor. And no, what really goes in their favor, not so much that they should turn one knockout, is that I had to bench double Lumineon. If I don't bench double Lumineon here, this game is over, I win. But I had to bench double Lumineon to get both Archeops out. I'm pretty sure I got both Archeops at this game out, but the problem was I had to bench double Lumineon, and that's free knockouts for them, because they even discarded 2 of the of the um of the plus powers. I can't think of the names right now. What they are. The damage modifiers. I'm drawing a blank right now. Power tablets. They discard 2 power tablets. They can never one shot a Lugia with a V-Guard at that point. So we should be okay. But I had to bitch double fish to even get set up, and that's what ruined me. I don't know if I started. I don't think I started fish. I'm pretty sure they took a turn to one knockout on Lugia V or something like that. And so that's unfortunate. What we end up doing is like Lugia sets up like damage on both of them on 2 Mew VMAX. I think he even did he boss a Drapion to knock it out. I don't know. I don't remember that part, but I do know I dropped double fish. They take a knockout Lugia, take a knockout Lumineon, and then both Mews are set up. And I know we're on time. And what happens is I take a knockout on the Mew, but at that turn, I Roxanne plus Path to defeat them. No, I don't. I don't pack to beat them. I'm like doing a bunch of stuff. I'm just like using Arceus, Prime October, get a bunch of energy out, just trying to get set up. And I go, okay, Roxanne them to 2, and I whiff the Path to the Peak. There's one left in the deck, and I don't hit it. And from there, Mew does Mew things. They do win. So, like I said, we lost game 1. I'm like 99% sure because we didn't get any Archeops out. Game 2, we only got 1 Archeops out. We still able to win. They even bossed up by only Archeops, and I was still able to win. That's how free this matchup is. And then game 3, we started Lugia. And what you can do, too, I don't think we did it that game. I don't think I had the option to. Is like, if you can, like, obviously retreat the Lugia into, like, a Dunsparce or Manaphy or Pumpkaboo or an Yveltal or something. And so that way you had the capability of, like, surviving. Also, Yveltal did Cry of Destruction and discard some energies during game 3. I think game 3 was, like, actually, like a lot. I think game 3 was really bad. I just don't remember it all. I think at one point we were like using Yveltal, which is like what you don't really want to do at all. This is like Mew is like a deck you don't want to Cry of Destruction, right? It's not really that optimal. But I can't remember like everything about it. But I think that it ended up being like 2 Mews had like a ton of damage on them, and like we knocked one out. Roxanne, we moved to Peak, and they just boss knocked out Lumineon. No, they escaped rope. They escaped rope, take a knockout or something like that. So. I think they locked out an Yveltal 2 that was like Cry of Destruction because I couldn't find the second Lugia or something like that. That seems really familiar for some reason. I don't know. Game 3 we just drew bad. Game 1 and Game 3 we drew bad. Even though we were really... Like, Game 3 we were able to pull it back. Roxanne whiffed Cry, right? So, we lose 4-3. Usually I don't get salty with Pokemon, but I will say this. If you are playing against an opponent and you beat them, and you know it's like you just kicked them out of the tournament, don't immediately give a thumbs up to your friends right in front of their face. Because that, I don't know, man. It seems like just like bad sportsmanship, right? I know they probably didn't mean it, but like it just like, you know, you go 4-1 to 4-3, and then like right in front of your face that your opponent's like giving a thumbs up to their friends. I guess just like walk over and like tell them. I don't know. Like, we had a good game, and I Roxanne you, and I did the Path to Peak. I know this is probably just me being salty, but oh well. It is what it is. Also, like, I think their girl, I don't know who this person was, like, came up right behind me. It's like, what just happened? And I was like, yo, what happened, man? Like, get away. You're not supposed to be in the play area. Like, you know, like I said, this is, you know, I'm fine now. I'm chill. Like, it's Pokemon. I don't really care. Just like, if you're playing against an opponent and you beat them, don't have your friends immediately hover around the table? I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm just being salty, but I think it is like bad sportsmanship. It's different if it's like the finals or something, but being, I don't know, even the finals, like, celebrate with your friends, I guess, is fine, but I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird topic. Like I said, maybe I'm just being a little salty. I don't know, man. It just sucks going 4-1 to 4-3. Especially when your other loss is like, because you didn't knock out their Yveltal. I really think about that in my head all week, and I was like, I can't believe I didn't knock out the Yveltal turn one instead of just like pass. It didn't do anything. I was like, what was I thinking? What was I doing? Like, why did I do that? I don't know why. Why am I so bad at Pokemon? Also, I didn't talk about this, but against the Zekrom deck, what you can do too is like you play the Cheren's Carrier plus like a Bird Keeper, But like any paralyzation deck, just attack with the regular Lugia V for air dive to take a knockout. And then they paralyze you, just evolve to Lugia VSTAR and then take another knockout. So that way it like takes 2 hits. Because they have a 3-star your Lugia VSTARs, just to let you know. Because they'll do 120, 120, so like 240, so that doesn't knock you out. So I think that's with Articuno and Zekrom. So like just keep that in mind when you're playing this deck. If you're playing against paralyzation. And then you got Shanger's Care, Bird Keeper, or whatever. So that's pretty cool. But I still think the deck is like really good. I think it's not that played for some reason. And I definitely will test more about it. I guess if you aren't afraid of control, what you can do is you get Snorlax, and like Snorlax could be your answer. I don't know what we would cut for the Snorlax. Maybe like an Yveltal, just play 2 Yveltal. I think that might be fine. Like 2 Yveltal, 1 Snorlax, but then like Snorlax is only good for control, so like I don't know if that's even worth it. I'm trying to think of what else could Snorlax do. I mean, Snorlax does do 180, so it can be good against like Lost Box maybe. But I don't know. Because then like you get the double flip and stuff like that, and then like I don't want to double flip. You know, I don't want to double flip. So, but it could be against Lost Box too. They can't stabilize and stuff like that. I don't know. But I think the deck does need to be tested good. I think it has good outs and good and I think it's a good deck. But nobody's playing it right now. I didn't really hear a lot of podcasts talking about it either. A lot of podcasts just wrote it off and didn't say anything about it. But I know Tag Team talked about it, and the Lost Zone. I can't remember exactly I think it's a Lost Zone podcast, new podcast. I can't remember. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But they're the only ones who had like any remotely talked about this deck at all. Nobody else even like talked about the deck, and I was like, yo, this deck is busted. Nobody's talking about it. So. Test the deck. I think it's really, really good. Might be some changes we need to make. Like I said, maybe a Snorlax. I don't know. Double Roxanne might be a little bit too much, but you don't play Palpad, so that's the big thing here. So, I don't know. Test the deck. Have some fun. I think there's still, like, good innovations that we can make to decks right now. We saw that over the weekend. I can't remember their YouTuber name, but they made day 2 with Lugia Single Strike, which is pretty sick. There was Lugia Flying Pikachu going around. There was Mew with like crazy stuff in it. There was the Dreepy that Xander Perot played. You had like the Mahones playing their Flying Pikachu in theirs. I think there's some other decks as well. There's a lot of innovation going on still. Even though it's the same format that we've had over and over again, there are sort of innovations. But the problem is, can it take down big bad regular Lugia? That's the question, because Andrew was saying, hey, Andrew Hendrick was like, hey, I'm going to win with the same deck necessarily. Like, pretty much the same deck, right? I think it's like 2 cards off, maybe 3. But yeah, the same Lugia deck is still just like destroying the field. All 3 tournaments that happened this weekend were won by Lugia decks. There was 1 in Japan, 1 in Bochum, and then 1 in Knoxville. But anyway, guys, there we go. There's my rant. If you listen to this whole thing, you're my best friend. I will be going to Charlotte. It's still the same format. We might play the same deck. There's a lot of decks I want to test, but I don't have a lot of time. It's hard for me to test because I work all the time. I want to test Pokemon all the time. And nobody wants to hear me talk about standard decks. They want to hear rotation and stuff. But destroy the formats in this tournament. Destroy the tournaments in this format. Anyways, I'm going. Guys, hit the subscribe button. See you tomorrow. Alrighty. Thank you so much for listening and seeing me this weekend. It means a lot. And you have no idea how much it means when you comment down below. That's all I'm going to say. Alrighty. Bye.